Hi folks, welcome 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo. Anyway, it's actually kind of a cool holiday if you stop and think about it for just a couple of minutes. People think, spring comes in March or April. But typically by the time you get to May, the leaves are out and you really have spring. What am I up to today? Just a few things. First of all, I let this tire sit overnight, and no, it did not seal. When I did inflate it, I had a band on it and it did not seat. So I took the band off and started to bounce it around like a basketball. And I have to tell you, tire doesn't really bounce like a basketball. It kind of bounces, and if you're not perfectly centered on it, it kind of figures out which way it's going to go on its own. Harvey also spun his knee, so I got a car show tomorrow and Saturday. I need to be a little careful. Particularly, I need to not be kneeling down. It's pretty good swollen, so whatever I did to it, I did pretty good. And it's weird. Both the front of the knee hurts. Front of the knee feels like I kneeled on something. I think it was one of Calvin's arrowheads there that got me. But the back of the knee, also the muscle is very sore, so it's probably just strain, fat guys doing too many, getting up and down too many times. Anyhow, my dolly, she's got a flat tire and she won't take air. I think the valve's torn up. So I was over to Harbor Freight, and these things are on sale. If you're in the Insider Club, they're selling them for $4 each. I mean, they're crap. They only last a year or two. But I'm figuring for $8, it's much easier to get my dolly back into shape. I could have got away with $4 and only replaced one, but then it would have looked kind of stupid. Though, if it looks really horrible and stupid, nobody will steal it, so maybe I should just replace one. And as usual, nothing goes easy the first time, so I went to replace one and noticed the problem. So, being that Harvey is the cheapest guy in the world, right? Start out with a washer. Then I cut a piece of copper scrap pipe. I was going to load that on the truck as mixed metal, and I said, you know what? Let me just cut that off, and you can see where I cut it off. And now I'm using it, right? I got the old rigid pipe cutter out, so I made, watch as I drop the copper into the garbage. Right, nice. That right there. This here. Just one thing I want to let you guys know. Don't rub against the outside of the bearing. You really got to be up against that retainer. And it's just a matter of... I didn't have the exact washer, which is strange, but this was actually a lock washer. I just straightened it so that it's flat, and it fits nice and tight there. Right, now it's just a matter of rebending the Carter pin. Right, put the Carter pin in without dropping it into the garbage once again. So I just have to bend that, and I'm all good. These tires are now. I'll be set. Matter of making life easier. I've been debating which truck to take up there. I normally My concern with this truck is it's made out of plastic. This is all plastic, right? The sides are metal, but the bed is completely made out of plastic. And when I load it, I'm clever enough to be careful with the floor, right? But that doesn't mean things don't poke into the side of it. And the sides are really thin. I mean, this is thin. So, normally the first day, I don't know. I should probably empty out both trucks, have them both ready to go. The Ranger, I started to put scrap into it. And this thing has really no space. Scrap and water. Yeah, I think I'm going to clear out the... I think the Tacoma is going to make the trip. The other nice thing about taking the Tacoma is, believe it or not, I can kind of have the, if I'm not wheeling the dolly or the rolling box, I could kind of get them into the cab, where I really can't do that with the Ranger, right? I can kind of squeeze these two into the cab, and then the back of the truck is empty, and nobody will take my stuff. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm a little behind on responding to comments. I'm sorry about that. From an ergonomics point of view, I have a laptop, and the way I use it, I kind of lean it on my leg, or I kind of put it on a table alongside my chair and lean forward and kind of type. And both things were making my knee quite cranky last night, so I really couldn't do anything. What else could I tell you guys? I really want to break into the Lakota. That tire and that tire are new. They're been floating around for a while, but they've never been used before. So I'm going to get them on the bike. I also ordered a new front tire, and the reason being is I want this thing up on all three. This was my first bike, and I want it to be, good and ready to go. I don't want to be fooling around with it. With tires, I'm so frustrated because I can't seem to find one technique about breaking the bead. Either the bead will break, or I'll cut the tire off, and I'll use my my grinder or pliers or something else to cut the metal. I'll get the Sawzall, however it takes. I'll get the tires off, right? I mean, that's not a big problem. But on getting the tires on, it's been frustrating to me because I've kind of used like every technique in the book, and they've I get them partially on, and then they mess with me. I've used the band, I've used the Dawn soap, right? And lost the container already. I've used, you buy that gallon of stuff at the auto parts store. I call it snot. It's tire lubricant to put tires on the rim. I've bought, and that stuff is slippery. Like, you get it on your fingers, it's like it's like oil. It's real slippery. So I've done that. I'm just wondering is if for the last time the whole thing caught fire. I don't think I put that video up, but when the whole tire caught fire and all that, I'm wondering. 231 mentioned it. He said this stuff, the ether isn't as volatile as it used to be. So I got some of this carb cleaner, and if you read what it's got in it, it's got all the nasties in it, right? Toluene, heptane, acetone, methanol, xylene. I mean, this stuff should be pretty explosive. The carbon dioxide's only the propellant. Hopefully that goes away pretty quick. So maybe what I should do is break the bead and load it up with that stuff and give it another shot. On these things are used to ignite pyrotechniques or rockets to send them off into the sky. I discovered with these things, before you use them, you really want to give them a quick ohm test. If you find yourself up in the mega ohms range, especially, 100 or 1,000, which puts you out in the giga ohms range, they're not going to work. If the way you could tell good ones from bad ones is, good ones are typically 100 ohms or less, and bad ones are up in the hundreds of thousands of ohms or mega ohm range. So if like you got one shot in the world of firing off your pyrotechniques or pulling a gag or whatever, and you decide to buy a load of these from eBay, I would suggest put a couple of them in parallel, and I would also test them. I tested them, with these disposable Harbor Freight multimeters, and it didn't shoot them off. I think it takes 12 volts to fire them off, and a little bit of current. So testing them with a meter did not set them off or seem to damage them. Alright, I guess that about covers it for now. I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and get out there and enjoy all your days. Take care now, folks. Bye.